Welcome back to the UTL Podcast number 3. I'm Robin.
Lex.
Let's go.
All right, guys. So this is our third episode.
It is our third one.
It's our third episode, and so far, so good.
Yeah, it's been far better than I expected, man.
I'm really happy with the results so far of what we've been able to accomplish all on our own, editing wise and recording.
How has that been, the process, the editing? What do you think?
I mean,
easier than you thought or harder you thought? What?
It's not as hard as I thought. Well, for me, it is a lot of work, though.
A lot of work?
Yeah, it's pace thinking. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But it's definitely worth it. And, I'd rather us do it in-house and send it elsewhere.
1,000%.
But yeah, so today's episode, we'll be talking about retro gaming.
Okay.
Retro gaming from the 80s and 90s and what we grew up with. And a lot of you probably weren't that many gamers out there maybe, but we were definitely gamers back in our day, and I'm still a gamer. I don't know about you, but
I play some. The same games, I still play them.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still really deep in the gaming world. So yeah, so this list was really easy to come up with in these games. So we're going to start off now with our top 5 NES games.
NES games, okay.
Nintendo Entertainment System, which came out in the 80s. So this will range from the 80s to late 90s.
Okay, cool.
All right. So go ahead and start off with your number 5.
My number 5, okay.
Your favorite NES game.
Duck Hunt.
Okay, Duck Hunt. I remember that.
Classic. Everybody had the gun, came with the system.
It
was fun.
It came with the system, but my parents threw out the gun.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a weapon. They don't like me having a gun, I guess, as a kid.
Well, to be honest, I didn't own a Nintendo, so I would go to my friend's house and play the gun.
Oh, okay.
So I get it. You didn't have one. I didn't have one either. I used to go to the friend's house and just use his gun.
Yeah, I didn't have that, but I would play it at someone else's house, the neighbor's house. But
it was a fun game, though.
It was a fun game.
The dog choking.
Yeah, but yeah, I never had that because they immediately threw out the gun.
So llegó y pa' fuera.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, no gun in the house, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
I mean, now my parents think about that and they're like, yeah, that was kind of stupid, but
spending all that money just doing half.
That's how it was, yeah.
So what's your number 5?
My number 5 in NES games is Super Mario Bros. 2.
Good choice.
Super Mario Bros.
Solid choice.
Yep. That was a really fun game. Adventure. It was completely different from the first Mario and any of the other Mario that had just come out. Mario 1. Completely different.
I thought it was way harder. At least for me.
I found it easier.
I found it harder.
And each character had a different moveset.
Mm-hmm.
Like the princess can go ahead and she can hover. Luigi, when he jumped, he had a weird jump. It was a long jump, but he would kind of like hover in the air for a little bit. But I remember the princess could go ahead and like kind of like fly. And yeah, but that game actually was not even an original Mario game. There was another version of it in Japan that had nothing to do with Mario. And all they did was they copied the same exact game, and instead of it being the characters from the old game, they just put Mario characters.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Fun fact that most people don't.
I didn't know that.
Now you know. All right, so what is your number 4?
4 is Tecmo Bowl, football game. Okay. I remember playing that all the time. That was super fun. Yeah, that was really cool.
It, and I didn't like sports games.
I love sports games.
I didn't like sports games until today. No, I don't like sports games. There's only one sports game, but I won't talk about that now. But yeah, there's only one sports game that I ever liked. But right now, no other games, especially on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl was a classic, bro. Classic football game. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is A Legend of Zelda. And I know that's probably number 1 on a lot of people's list. Legend of Zelda. But there's other games that have more nostalgic value for me and better memories. But I remember even Legend of Zelda, my mom got into that. And she even built a map for all the dungeons. And she drew out
Okay,
a map.
she was a super fan then.
Yeah, and
for her to go through all that.
We would be playing till 3 or 4 in the morning, and she'd be up trying to play the game and beat the game, drawing out the map and everything, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, my number 4, Legend of Zelda.
Okay, so my number 3 is Top Gun. I don't know if you remember that game.
Top Gun, is that
just like the movie.
Helicopter?
No, just like the movie Top Gun. You had airplanes, you had to fight, but the most important thing was you had to land, and it would tell you how to land, and that was the fun thing, how to land into the aircraft.
Yeah, that is a jet movie.
Yeah. Planes. So you had the F-15, you had to land in, and if not, you would crash it. It was a super fun game.
No, I never played that.
Yeah, I remember going to my friend's house, just playing, and it was the landing part. It was the main part of the game. Just landing, trying to land it proper. You will do everything right, and you can just mess it up at the landing and just start all over again.
Dang.
So number 3 is Top Gun.
Top Gun, okay. Yeah,
what's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Goonies.
I never played The Goonies.
Oh, man.
I never played that one.
Yeah, The Goonies was amazing. And also another game that my mom got involved in, where she also drew out a map of the entire world.
So your mom was deep into playing video games too?
Yeah, that was just at that era when the NES first came out, because it was something new, nobody had ever seen that.
Yeah, okay.
So it intrigued her, and then she just spent time with me and my brother, and she drew out the maps for The Goonies, and because The Goonies was a game that you definitely needed a map to understand, because you would go into a door and it would go to another world, another portal, and the map system in the game was really not great.
Okay.
So she would draw out the map and everything, and that was really good, fun memories of that. And also I loved the movie also.
No, the movie was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
And it had the music from the movie, the Cyndi Lauper theme.
Oh, in the game?
In the game.
That was the main thing of the game. That's cool. That's cool.
All right, so that's my number 3, The Goonies. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is a classic Mike Tyson Punch-Out. And I remember this clearly in Puerto Rico. All my friends, after like a month of the game coming out, we made cardboard belts. Yeah, and we had a tournament, and I remember me putting glitter with the glue, y haciéndolo bien lindo la correa.
Damn, okay.
And I lost in the first round.
You lost the glitter belt?
I lost the belt. I lost the belt, but we had tournaments with Mike Tyson Punch-Out. An amazing game, classic.
Yeah, that is a great game. I didn't put it on my list because I didn't own it and I didn't play it much.
Got it.
But I played it a lot more growing up and as a teenager when that game was already
out of
like the whole thing. But yeah, great game too. That was your number 2?
That was my number 2.
My number 2 is Mega Man.
Mega Man.
The first one.
Solid.
Mega Man. Holy crap.
That was a great game.
That game was really difficult, especially the last stage with Dr. Wily and all that stuff. And he had this yellow robot. Man, that game was really hard. And the thing about NES games back in the day, they were really difficult. And there's actually a term for that, which is Nintendo hard. Like NES hard. That's like a standard they have in the industry, that those games were really difficult. It was because you wanted to rent those games out. You also wanted to, especially Super Nintendo games, but they made them hard so you had to buy them if you wanted to beat them or keep renting them. But yeah, that game was difficult, but I have fond memories with it. Playing it actually with my cousin in Puerto Rico that I visited for like a vacation, and we played that game hardcore. And then she let me have a copy of it. But yeah, I have fond memories with Mega Man.
Again, your cousin has everything.
She had everything.
Everything.
Honestly, she had all the games.
Everything.
She had the biggest TV you could think of.
Everything.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. She had everything.
Since last episode, she's been having everything.
Yep.
Okay, so number one is a no-brainer. The original Mario.
Okay. That's
For
not
me,
my number one, but okay.
Jesus, well, I think everybody's gonna agree with. Well, I hope so. Mario,
Okay.
the theme, the
Yeah,
board,
it was
the level,
great.
it was a great game.
Yeah.
Fun.
But there's another game that was better than that one.
Which was your number one?
Super Mario Bros. 3.
I could see it, but I would have to give the credit to Mario.
all
the original one.
the world stages, the worlds, the flute that you can go and skip worlds, the fact that you could fly, all the hidden stages, all the hidden things.
That was cool.
inside
The
game.
flute. That was cool that you could skip. That's what,
Everything.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand number one was rudimentary and it was the beginning. But number 3,
It was the
way
foundation.
better. Way better number 3.
No, but I get it. I get it how that could be in your, in
Yeah.
your list.
That's my number one of best NES games was Super Mario Bros.
You guys should put your list of your top 5
Yeah.
NES games.
Send us messages. Let us know if
Let us
we are
know.
wrong.
If you
or
agree with
correct.
us.
But I think I'm right in the Super Mario Bros.
I don't know. Mario, the original one. You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with the original one. And in fact, I wasn't allowed. I mean, games back in the day were super expensive. Like they were $60, $70, $80. And if you think
what is that average to today?
Man, that would have been today like $120, $130.
Oh, damn. It's a lot.
And if you think about it, that's why we only got a game once a year, whether it was for Christmas or your birthday. And you better play that game and you mastered it because that's all you had. So the only game I had was the original Mario because it came with the NES. And my dad told me, I'm not gonna buy you the Super Mario Bros. 3 unless you finish this one. So me and my brother were stuck on it over and over and over until we finally beat it. And we called him over and showed him. And yeah, then he went ahead and bought us Super Mario Bros. Yeah.
You had to prove.
I had to
prove that you guys.
Yeah. And I had to beat it. If not, I wasn't getting it.
Getting it.
Yeah, that was a happy day getting that game, Super Mario Bros.
Going to the store to
Toys
purchase, going to whatever, mainly Toys R Us. Going to Toys R Us to purchase the game was the number one feeling every kid
you had
wanted.
These aisles with all the cover arts of the video games, and it had a slip with the price tag of the game. It was a yellow slip, and you would grab the slip for the game you wanted with the price, and then you would go ahead and take it to the counter, and then they had all the games behind the counter in a cage, and then they would grab the game for you and then
bring it to you.
But yeah, you would see a whole bunch of cover arts everywhere, and you would flip it over and see the back art and the information of the game. But there were so many, there was hundreds of NES games at that time. But yeah, going over there and looking for the game. And I don't know if you ever realize this, but the smell of entering Toys R Us. There was
you can't forget the smell.
Yeah.
Can't forget the smell.
It's sad that's gone.
Should come back. There's one, there's a half of one in the Altamont Mall.
Okay.
They have it. We have a little. I mean, it's nothing compared to the actual.
Just a brand.
It's just a little, it's like a little corner. You see, I think there is Jeffrey.
I think there actually is a Toys R Us store
in Canada, right? Something like that.
I don't know if it's Canada or
it's in the north.
New York.
I know it's in the north.
Yeah, but there's actually one Toys R Us that they opened. But
you're gonna have to find it and put it.
I'm definitely gonna find it
and put it on the little.
Yeah. And what was the theme song for I don't want to grow up because I'm a Toys R Us kid.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
Everybody knows that melody.
Hell yeah.
That was
damn.
The happiness you felt just taking a drive. Just to know you were going to Toys R Us.
Yeah, my mom would also be like, oh, you know, if you're good this weekend, I'll take you to Toys R Us.
And you're already happy just hearing this week.
Yeah, even if you're not going to buy nothing.
Just to go was an event. And you would spend hours just every hour looking at everything. Creepy crawlers, all those. Even bikes. I would go looking for bikes. You should stare at the bikes. You can even test them out.
You could test them out.
Like pasillo, rollerblades, roller skates, everything. I remember the big thing was the super soakers.
The Super Soak.
I never had one because I wasn't allowed to have, like you, I wasn't allowed to have a gun, but I remember all my friends having the Super Soaker. And it was like the 50, then it was like the 100 to the 500 that you couldn't really run away from them.
I remember my neighbor, he had just bought this big one. I mean, it had 2 tanks and it had a tank on the back. And he was bigger than me. But I'm like, oh, let me try it. And he gave it to me. It was so heavy for me that I dropped it.
Oh,
And the moment I dropped it, the nozzle just cracked.
It cracked.
It tore it up, and it was just brand new. Yeah, that kid cried.
I remember having the little battles with my friends, and since I didn't own it, they would give me the little bullshit water guns.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, he could shoot from 500 feet away. I had to get up close, and it was just not even fair. Everybody had it was either the 500, everybody had the 500 or the 100, and just soaking everybody in the little pool. But those were what you did back in the day. Toys R Us was an amazing place. They should bring that back. Kids don't even know what it is to go to Toys R Us.
No, all they do now is go to Walmart, Target. That's it.
Y cuidado, porque todos ya están ya ordenando.
Everything's Amazon. And you can just order everything online.
But it's the feeling of seeing something and wanting it, and like, okay, I want this. Yeah. Be able to play, even testing the games. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you purchase a game because you would see the covers. It was a cool cover and you got to play it. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. And remember the lines when you had to go, like, wait your turn to play? Yeah. They would tell you, like, you could play, like, for, like, 2 minutes, and it would shut off, and you had to, and then the next kid would come along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you would make the line to come right back, or try to cut in line when somebody wasn't looking.
But I think that really happened a lot more in the early days of video games, because they still have that at Target, and they still have that at GameStop. Like, if you go to GameStop, where they have the console there and you could play it, but
the lines are not there, though.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, because it has accessible.
It's accessible. Everyone's okay. They're like, yeah, we've seen this already. Blah blah. Yeah.
But back in the day, to play, for example, NBA Jam, you were waiting all the way.
Yeah.
And what would suck is waiting in line, and then you were like second in line, and your mom was already at the register. You're gonna get to play.
Yeah. Say, oh, let's go, vámonos.
5 minutos.
Vámonos.
5 minutos más.
All right, so now we're gonna talk about top SNES games, Super Nintendo games.
Got a computer shut off. Give me 1 second, please.
So, did you own a Super Nintendo?
I did, like 4 years late.
Me too. My aunt got it for me because my cousin had everything. So my aunt saw we didn't have that, so they got us the Super Nintendo, which came with Super Mario World.
So I got my Super Nintendo, July of 1994. And I remember I was super late to the party because so I would play at my friend's house.
I think I got it in 94. I think the system released in 91. I might be mistaken, but I think I had mine in 94 because one specific game had come out that my cousin had rented.
Again, the cousin who has everything.
Yeah, she had everything. She did. So I'm gonna start off with my number 5. Okay. My number 5 in Super Nintendo games is Yoshi's Island, which is Super Mario World 2.
That was a really good one.
It's Baby Mario, and all the colored Yoshis, and you had to just protect Mario and go through the stages. Had great music, completely different artwork compared to any other Mario game before. And it was a very like cutesy game, but it was really nice. A great game. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
Okay, so my number 5th game of Super Nintendo was Ken Griffey Baseball.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't a fan of.
And I remember that was one of the games that when I got late, 3 or 4 years later, I was able to pick out, and I was a big baseball fan. So just playing that, I remember playing that with my dad, hours with my dad playing Ken Griffey Baseball. So that's definitely for me one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of baseball games or especially football games, because football games, they had the moves at the bottom, like, are you gonna do this? Claro.
Yeah,
and I didn't understand. Okay, just click on whatever, and I didn't.
No, but this one was cool because you actually got to play the season mode and play the whole full. I think it's 162 games in a season. You got to play actually all the games.
Mm.
and then go to playoffs and have an all-star game. So if you did good, you actually made the all-star game, or if not, you had to watch the all-star game.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was legit like a full baseball season. It was awesome.
Yeah, never played that.
So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Diddy Kong's Quest.
Good choice.
That's the Donkey Kong Country
Yeah.
Part 2. And it was based off pirates. It's a pirate themed. Interesting fact is that the music, intro music for Diddy Kong's Quest is actually from Hook. From
From John Williams.
Yep, they got inspired from that. It's like the same.
That's a great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yep, definitely a great movie.
With Robin Williams playing Peter Pan.
Mm-hmm. And Dustin Hoffman was
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook, which I didn't know was him until years later that I
He did
grew up
a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I didn't know it was him.
It's the shit.
But yeah, that music from that game, the intro, is inspired from
Hook.
From Hook. Yep. So that's my number 4. What's your?
My number 4 is Top Gear 2. It was a racing game, and it was real cool because it got to the point in the game where after you start winning races, you could change the color of the paint of the car, change the engine, change tires. So it made in the sense of it, like if you won, now you could upgrade your car.
Okay.
So it was a real fun. It was a real fun game. I remember.
I don't remember that game.
I remember going to Blockbuster when there was a time when you could actually rent games.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to Blockbuster rent it every weekend until I beat it because you could only get it for 2 days. So
yeah.
So I would go rent it from Friday, return to Sunday night, try to beat it and get the information and write down information down, the cheat codes and stuff on the paper.
Damn, the cheat codes, yeah.
Yeah, because you know how they had the books.
Mm-hmm.
They would tell you how to beat each level. I didn't have that, but I just had to write everything.
The books were expensive.
Yeah, like $30, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe 20, I don't know the actual price, but
there was actually a Nintendo hotline that you can call and they would tell
I remember that.
But I never called that.
I would have got grounded for making all those. They were like 99 cents a minute, something like that, or $1.99. I would have got una pela chévere.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that was what your number.
That was the 4th. So your number. This is your 3rd one. Huh?
My 3rd one, NBA Jam.
Ooh, he's on fire.
He's on fire.
So did you know about the Air Morris, the codes, all the different cheat codes?
I know there's like the big heads or something.
Yeah, but the Air Morris was one of the top cheat codes in NBA Jam. And I remember going to the arcades and playing NBA Jam was a game that was awesome to play in the arcades.
Yeah, and they did a good job to make it into Super Nintendo.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that's the only sports game. And it was fun. And I was addicted to that every day for like at least 6 months. Every day, just playing that nonstop.
And I remember playing. What team did you use?
I always use Chicago Bulls.
The one thing that sucked about the Bulls is Scottie Pippen was there, but they had Horace Grant. No Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was not there.
So Air Morris was kind of like the Michael Jordan figure that would do all the crazy dunks because Michael Jordan wasn't in the game.
Was Patrick Ewing in there for the Knicks?
I remember, I think it was Patrick Ewing and John Starks. I could be wrong, but I remember seeing John Starks in the game.
Was Larry Bird there?
I don't know. Because I remember I would use the Bulls and the Hornets. And I believe the Hornets had Larry Johnson and Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, no.
That game was the shit. Unfortunately,
fun.
It didn't make it. It's not on my list. And I honestly, I didn't know my acordé.
Yeah, bro. You failed.
I failed.
You failed. Yeah, that was
big time.
Game. All right, so that's my number 3. What's your number 3?
Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't allowed to play that, so I can't say anything on that.
But I remember the commercial. Just the commercial alone. Everybody would talk about it. I remember seeing the commercial, Saturday morning cartoons, Mortal Kombat. And all my little friends came out of running. You talking, did you see the commercial? Mortal Kombat, Reptile, blah, blah, blah. Amazing, bro.
Yeah. I remember that all the kids were going crazy over Mortal Kombat, but I wasn't allowed to play those fucking games. I wasn't even allowed to play Street Fighter.
Oh wow.
And of course, my cousin had Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. So when I went over, I would play like hidden in the room and stuff like that. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to play anything.
Again, tu prima tenía todo, bro.
She did.
Jesus.
She had everything.
Everything. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Super Mario World. The one that came with the system.
Yeah.
All the different exits that you could take and the secrets in the world that you could fly. The Yoshi, that was something brand new.
Yeah.
And the fact when that system came out, that that was like the they would play in the with the TVs in the stores. They would just play the intro of you see him jumping on the Yoshi, whatever.
And the sound that Yoshi made.
Yeah, all that, bro. That was iconic, and everyone would just be mesmerized. But there's one game that beat that one. But I'm gonna let you go ahead. Number 2.
So my number 2 is Mortal Kombat 1.
Jeez, okay, Mortal Kombat.
And again, that was one of the games that I purchased 3 games when I first got my Super Nintendo. That was Ken Griffey and Mortal Kombat 1. And I remember reading the story of Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Liu Kang and all the characters, and I remember the fatality, forward down, forward Y to Sub-Zero. To this day, I remember it. Awesome game. What I did not like about the Super Nintendo, they did not have the blood code like Sega did.
The Sega did.
Sega had the blood, Nintendo didn't have the blood.
Yes, Nintendo was more catered towards a younger audience. Sega was catered towards teenagers.
And I still remember the blood code to the Sega was ABACABB, ABACAB.
Yeah, no, you have it memorized.
Yeah, fully.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
For Collins Free, what Nintendo don't.
That was a phrase.
That was the advantages they had because of everybody wants the blood. And a lot of people went to Sega because of the blood, specifically because of the blood code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to play any of that.
And I remember that for some reason the Sega games were always darker than the Nintendo games.
Because it was catered towards teenagers.
But even los colores.
Yeah, because it was catered towards
I
teenagers.
didn't know that was.
Yeah, it was all sports and action games and stuff like that. It was all catered towards teenagers. That's why their mascot, they chose Sonic because Sonic was more cool. Sonic is a cooler looking character for teenagers than Mario.
I get it. By the way, Sonic was a badass game.
It was. Yeah.
If you were doing a Sega, that would be the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about Sega. But what's your number 1 for Nintendo? Super Nintendo.
Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country is number 1.
That's a very good game.
Yeah, that
very
game,
good game
is the best looking game on the system. One of the best looking games on the system. And when it came out, those 3D graphics and stuff like that, unparalleled to anything before its time. Yeah, the music was great. It was just cool, really, really, really cool. And when that would play on the like in the stores and on the screens, bro, yeah, every kid loved that game. Completely different from anything that had come out past. And it looked like it was ahead of its time. It looked like it came for another system, but it was still running on the Super Nintendo. So that's my number 1, Donkey Kong Country.
Okay, so my number 1 is the one when it came with the system, and I think is the best game, The Legend of Zelda.
Okay, Link to the Past.
Coño, no me acuerdo si es Link.
And I think it's the best game.
But
I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Legend of Zelda. Okay, so your bundle came with it.
Yeah, but to me that was the best game, and I remember spending hours.
Yeah, that's a great game. I never played it like that because I didn't have it at that time. But I know it's people's.
I mean, getting the rupees, just getting the bushes, throwing the bushes. I remember going to the village, and if you hold the sword, it would spin, and I would try to kill all the chickens. And my little sister Jackie would try to always try to help me beat it because it was frustrating. It was a long game, and if you didn't have the maps, olvídate.
Oh yeah, those games you definitely
needed the maps. So I didn't have the maps, so it would take me months. And I remember my uncle beat it like in a few weeks. And I remember he came from Puerto Rico, and he helped me finish it. And then he finished it, and he deleted it.
Damn.
And yeah, man. And then I had to start all over again, and no book, and no, just got stuck. And yeah, I finally beat it like 4 years later. Yeah, it took a
All
long
on
time.
your own.
Yeah, all on my own.
Yeah, it's
but
definitely a long game.
it's a long game. Maybe it wasn't 4 years, but you know what I'm trying to say. So that was my list for
So Link,
Zelda, Zelda
Legend
number
of Zelda-
1,
Legend
Mortal
of Zelda.
Kombat 1, number 2, Mortal Kombat 2, number 3. Number 4 was Top Gear, and number 5 is Ken Griffey Baseball.
All right. So Donkey Kong Country 1, Super Mario World 2, NBA Jam 3, Diddy Kong Quest 4, and Yoshi's Island 5.
Solid.
All right, so now let's go with Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Top 5 Nintendo 64 games. And I'm actually going to make a quick change here. You can go ahead with number 5 for you.
Number 5, 007 GoldenEye.
Okay.
That was mine. Number 5.
I know that's a lot of people's probably number 1.
Number 1.
Mhm.
But that would be my number 5. It's super dope game. The music, everything was good about that game.
Yeah.
Even the suspense of when you were shooting somebody, going in, you're like, te ponía tan nervioso.
My cousin had that, but I wasn't allowed to have that.
La prima, we gotta put it.
So I never got to play that game. But that game, the pause menu music,
Yeah,
is iconic.
everything with the music in the game, everything was good. And when you get shot, the breathing, like when you were dying,
But that
it would do
music,
that.
like I discovered that music way later. But I'm gonna put it in here so you guys can hear it, because
You've heard it plenty of times. So,
maybe some people have, but I don't think everyone has.
well, the people that are gonna be watching this, I'm pretty sure that can relate to this, know what we're talking about.
Hopefully. But yeah. So yours is
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Okay. My number 5 is Turok 2.
Is that the one with the dinosaurs?
Yeah, it was like a dinosaur hunter.
Yeah, I remember that.
Part 2. I never played part 1, but part 2 was amazing.
I never played it.
The music was great.
I never played it. I know what the case looks like, but I never played it.
Yeah. Turok 2, I think it's called Seeds of Evil. I remember there's a cheat code, which makes it God mode. You can get everything. I think the cheat code was Oblivion is at hand. And you would put that cheat code in, and it turn you into God mode. You can have all the weapons, unlimited ammunition. But yeah, that was a really fun game, and the music, top notch.
Yeah, I remember. I never got to play that.
So that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
Mario Kart
Okay.
will be my number 4.
Okay, see, Mario Kart for me, that's my number 2.
Oh wow. Okay.
So why is it so Mario Kart for you is 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Fantastic game.
But yeah, for me, that game is way high up.
Way higher.
Yeah. So 4 for you is Mario Kart. Number 4 for me, I was actually going to put Diddy Kong Racing. I was going to put Diddy Kong Racing there, but it's being removed out of the list. I remember another game that I liked before that one. So my number 4, Mario 64. Mario 64 is my number 4. Great adventure game. It came out with the release of the system. Like no Mario before it. It was finally 3D.
And you can,
yeah, you could pan the camera all around.
That in itself, it took time to learn how to get used to it.
The
music was great.
The levels were great.
Everything.
Oh yeah, all the secrets, the adventure, everything was amazing with that game. That is my number 4.
Okay, so my number 3, Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay.
And those who knows me knows I love Diddy Kong Racing.
And that is a great game. And it was on my list until I remember.
No, the music, everything. The characters, the intro, you know, everything. You got to play the intro. So. when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ended it.
I'll go ahead.
Amazing. Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing was great.
Who did you use? Do you remember the character you used?
I think I used Conker, the squirrel.
Okay, yeah.
I would also use Banjo. That's their debut. Conker debuted is there, and Banjo, which ended up being Banjo-Kazooie, which is another great game. Damn, I didn't. Yeah,
I ate that one.
there's too many great ones, but yeah, I would use those. And yeah, that game was amazing because it wasn't just a cart. You could do the little hover,
The hover and the plane.
and the plane.
That's why I put it
that was
above.
cool
That's
as
why I
well.
put it above Mario Kart, because you had those options, and you had I believe you could also battle too.
Yeah.
You
The reason why it's not on my list as high up as Mario Kart is because I didn't own it, so I didn't play it as much.
But I owned
I
that
rented
again.
it.
I owned it years later. Like I had a Nintendo 64 like in '99, and it came out like in '96.
Okay.
So I was years later, and then I got whatever.
Yeah, I was playing Mario Kart because that was one of the first games that I got with the system. My parents bought it for me, and I was on Mario Kart.
Let me guess, your cousin had that one too.
Yeah, she had everything. She sure did. My number 3 is Jet Force Gemini. You probably never heard of it. It was an action adventure game, like in space. Dang, it's talking about space. It's another game that's amazing, but
I
didn't add that other game on the list. But yeah, but anyways,
it's in my mentions.
This one was, you had 3 characters. One was a girl, one's a guy, and then a dog. And you could play all 3 characters, and you had to use all 3 characters throughout the game to progress. And you were just fighting these bugs and stuff like that. But it was a really cool game. I enjoyed playing that game a lot. And there's a lot of people out there that know that game and love that game too. But yeah, Jet Force Gemini, a very underrated game.
I never got the chance to play it.
So that is my number 3.
So this is my number 2.
Mhm.
Mario 64. For all the reasons you had mentioned. I think we were inverted. I think your number 4 was my number 2. My number 2 was your number 4
Mhm.
when it came to that. So yeah.
Okay.
So Mario 64.
So my number 2 is Mario Kart 64.
You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong
with that.
So
number 1, Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's my number 1.
I can understand people put that as number 1. I can't put that as number 1 because I never owned it. The one that owned it was my cousin. I never owned it, and I never played it. And then playing it nowadays, the game sucks.
Oh! What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Like, if you play it nowadays, you never played it back in the day, and there's no nostalgic value to it. You'd be like, what is this?
But even Navi, just having the hey, listen, like having that when you need a question, just go to Navi.
Yeah, and people are gonna hate me now.
You're goddamn right.
Because I said that game nowadays, if you play it, it sucks if you don't have nostalgic value. It's probably still a great game, but it's not a game that you can get into without any nostalgia behind it.
And I liked it when you play the game, you also had to play the music. There was a
lot of
but you actually had to play.
You had to play in the
you had to play it in the thing, so it was super dope
different
game
from before.
Yeah, awesome game. And the landscape and the music, the whole vibe was just awesome game. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Conker's Bad Fur Day. That was rated M for mature.
Yeah.
I actually had that game. My parents didn't even know what it was because
they thought a squirrel. Yeah, no pensaba que lo que
but it had a lot of sexual and sex and sexual like jokes, adult jokes.
Get that big, long, hairy tail away from me.
There you go. She's all yours.
Oh, wish me luck, fella.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
It was and it had a lot of cursing.
Why is it everybody so offensive around here?
It would be beeped out, but when they said the F word, they would say fuck, and it would just be beeped out, but Yeah.
You understood. You
they were
knew what
saying-
he was saying.
And yeah, it had a lot of sexual jokes.
I remember that. I never really got to play the game, but I know exactly what you're talking about because obviously everybody talked about the game.
Yeah.
Que hablaba malo.
And
But just-
multiplayer mode was awesome. You had teams that were squirrels, you had teams that were bears, like teddy bears, and they would kill each other and chop each other's head off. It was an amazing game. Had blood, everything. But yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day
Is your number
my
one.
number one.
So other games that I gotta mention, Star Fox.
Yes, that was a space game I was talking about. Star Fox.
Skippy, Peppy,
Yep. Dual barrel.
Falco.
I've got him. Careful. I heard Andros gave his troops Ligma.
Ligma? What's Ligma?
Slippy, no! Ligma balls!
Yeah.
If you know the
Star
Star
Fox.
Fox, you know what Star Fox. Kirby's Avalanche.
No, you lost me there.
That
It
was
wasn't-
amazing. It was like Tetris, but with the Kirby.
Oh yeah.
It was super dope. And one of my favorite ones was Pilot Wing.
Pilot Wings.
You
Yeah.
took it was a relaxing
A
game.
relaxing game.
The
And you
music,
can go fly anywhere you want.
You could fly
You
onto
can
run
do
out of fuel, take pictures, hang
the
glide.
rocket.
You could shoot
Shoot
the
the
rocket
rockets at 'em.
with the stone giant. Wow. I remember all that. Those are the games that I would mention there as well.
That was the intro.
Exacto.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-da-bam-bam-bam, yeah.
And when they would crash.
Well, that's when you hit the missile with the rocket guy.
Or-
Depending what character you had will make a different sound.
Yeah, because the big guy would make that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the mustache.
Lark, I think, was the skinny small one. Will make like a little squealy sound.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are the
Pilot
lists.
Wings, Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire.
I never played that one.
Oh, that was amazing. That was a great game.
Never played that one.
And I think the first level is you flying, and you're on the, I forgot what aircraft it is, but it's the one of the scenes when in the snow scenes with the 80's.
In the ads.
You know the
Yeah.
with the four legs. Yeah, and then you gotta like throw the little cable
Around it where it
Yeah.
should fall.
I
Okay,
think that's how the game starts. But yeah, that was a great game.
that's cool. But I never got to play that. One game that I couldn't stand, and I know I picked it from my favorites in Super Nintendo was Mortal Kombat. When they were adding all the robots, they just completely lost me and all that stuff. I just lost the feel of the game. So those were I really didn't cater too much to that. But I feel like we nailed it, and I hope you guys agree with our list. And if you don't, feel more
Yeah.
than free to put your top 5 and see who you agree with more.
Do you have any honorable mentions for Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo.
I remember Super Nintendo hardest game ever was Lion King.
Lion King was super hard. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was hard. Battletoads was fun. For Super Nintendo, Battletoads.
Battletoads for Super Nintendo. Okay. Yeah, Lion King, known today as one of the hardest games of all time. Purposely done so you could either re-rent the game over and over and over, or so you had to go ahead and buy it.
The book.
No, buy the game.
Oh, you're talking about because you were renting at a Blockbuster.
Yeah,
Okay,
you had
got
two
it.
choices. If you wanted to finish that game, you had to buy it, or you had to keep renting it every week.
But I'm sure if you would have bought the book, the cheat code, it was
No,
todavía tampoco.
no, bro. No.
I
There's
remember
no saving you
if I
from
don't
that game.
if I recall, there was like a scene you got on an ostrich, right?
Yeah, there's that's the second level.
The second level. I
Mhm.
remember just getting to that one. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I got to when he grows into an adult. And everything,
Never
but
that. I got to the
I was
ostrich
on
and that's
there.
it. You make it.
Jungle Book was an amazing video game too for Super Nintendo.
Fifth, I never got to play that. I remember Aladdin.
I remember Aladdin. Aladdin also was a Sega game.
Aladdin, I remember.
Yeah, but Aladdin, I didn't have Aladdin, but I had Jungle Book. We got to come up with a list for Sega Genesis.
That's gonna be dope.
Yeah. Even though I never owned the Sega Genesis, I played it because, of course, y'all know who had it. And I would
La
just go-
famosa prima.
Yeah, I would go over there and play her Sega Genesis. But
By the way, is this a cousin that I beat?
yeah,
We gotta talk about that more. I know we mentioned it in the first,
that's her.
but I just wanted to throw that
She
in.
had everything. She had all the board games, all the video games, systems, everything. So yeah, guys. Well, that will wrap it up for today. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Lex and
Robin.
We hope you guys have a great day.
Nos vemos.
Bye.